Let me know when we're live. We are live. John's coming in. We are talking. We're playing a game that's not Mr. Run and Jump yet. John and I are playing a game called the Synonym Game. Those of you that are joining us, John comes up with a word.
I don't know.
It's a fantastic game. Let's show our fans how you play this game. Give me a word, and I will come up with a synonym as fast as I possibly can.
Playing
No, I can't do two things at once. You've met me before.
How about coffee?
Beverage?
What?
You can't just say coffee. It's a very specific thing. It's like saying a synonym for John. Like, I don't know. Come on. All right.
I have to come up.
I have to
come up with the word that has a synonym to feed to you to come up with a synonym.
Watch. Are you ready? I'm gonna do this. Bright.
Okay. Glow.
Sad.
Depressed.
Happy.
Joyful.
Fearful.
Scared.
Yeah, see? You got to be like that. That's how we got it. That's how the game's played.
Okay.
Okay, here's a synonym. What was the one? A synonym for long. This was a hard one.
For long?
Yeah.
Like extended?
Oh, see, it was hard when I was like 10. This is a game I had to play in school, and we like all talked to each other about like, what's another name for long? And we were like, we don't know. We didn't have the word extended in our vocabulary at that point. So it was like elongated we couldn't use because it had the word long in it, but it was extended and like maybe lengthened or something. Like we like 10-year-olds couldn't come. It was like an English like class, activity. And there were words like jump and bright and some easy, slow pitches. But long was like the difficulty spike. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, how do we solve this?"
That's funny.
Anyway, I'm a fan of language. I like a sturdy vocabulary, which is why we named this game Mr. Run and Jump. Just got straight to it. The antithesis of flowery language.
Yeah, right.
Good to be on stream with you again, John. Sorry I missed last week. How did it go? What did we get last week? How far did you get us? Huh?
Let's see. I did here. I can't see the game. Can you tag Cat to?
All right, we had the game. I remember by doing what? We'll take this moment to thank our executive producer on our stream, Cat, aka Creativity in chat.
There we go.
Thanks, Cat. All right, we looks like green. Ooh, got green all cleaned up.
Yeah, green. Yeah, I guess yeah, that's right. I guess I did all the challenge and, or I guess just 3 void is missing 1 challenge orb. And then otherwise I got all the shards and all the other challenge orbs. So
nice.
So yeah, what's the plan? You gonna keep on the orb hunt? You gonna do some speed running, or there's a black and white world?
I feel like we should bring up that our record for Violet 1-1 was shattered this week.
Do we know the guy's name that we could shout him out?
Dr. Finn, I believe. I gotta check. You can verify this in the Atari Discord channel, in the Mr. Run and Jump channel of the Atari Discord. And I'm going to bring it up right now. And this was a player who found out about the game at PAX. So a couple weeks ago, John and I were at PAX showing off Mr. Run and Jump, showing off Quamp 2, some other games from Graphite Lab. And this player comes up to us and just loves the game, buys the game on the spot, goes home that night and just starts cranking out top times. And spends hours and hours after PAX just trying to get a world record time on Violet 1-1. And I'm going to bring up the exact time. It's Dr. Tuen, Tuen. And their time. Do you know the time, John? I want to see. Maybe you can guess it.
It was like 49 seconds, 49 point something.
49.44, a sub 50.
God, wow.
Flying, absolutely flying through Violet 1-1. Um, so I came away from PAX feeling like, I think I can get a sub 50. And I was feeling really good. And so I did take a couple of runs at it, but I'm still in that 53, 54 range is like my
Okay.
absolute fastest. Um,
Yeah.
because I think I'm at the spot now, and you speedrunners will appreciate this. I'm at the spot where I have to change. I can't get better at what I'm already doing. There's something that I have to change, right? So what I'm already doing, I've landed it pretty cleanly a couple of times, and it's in that 53 range. So I need a new path. I need some different movements. And that part is like that's really where the work comes in, because you're not going to be breaking the record right away. You have to like practice new routes. And so that's a bit of the slow part. But 50, 49, and some change, amazing. Um,
Truly, truly nuts. It's one of those things where I'd be like, oh, I bet, yeah, a sub 50 is possible, but like not actually believing it.
right? Yeah. It's like uh-oh, John got a little bit of a stall. Is that John or me?
That's us.
Uh-oh.
That's because I accidentally hit the switch for breaking it.
Oh, whoops.
So I shut off my computer.
John's back.
John's back. We might have,
Y'all okay?
Okay, we're back. Sorry. It was pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. All better. That's a
Ooh,
Wizard of
boy.
Oz reference for all of you people that are not 40 years old. LPK.
We were talking
What's that?
I was gonna say we were talking about Planet of the Apes last stream.
Oh, nice.
Are you a fan of Planet of the Apes?
I can't say that I know the franchise all that well. I know
You don't
some
know
broad
about
strokes, but no, I don't. I know that there's a
you
Statue
don't
of
know
Liberty
about
in the
Dr.
set. I don't. I'm
Cornelius?
sorry. I'm sorry.
You damn dirty ape.
I don't. It's I should, you know. My
was good.
preferences for things in life is ice cream and Planet of the Apes. It's just floating right north or south of it. I don't know anything about it. No, we tripped a switch over here, but we're back. LPK 425, good to see you in the stream. Always nice to have you in here. My plan today, John, I could go for some platinums, right? There's definitely some platinums I could get. We got some shard routes that we could do. Those are always fun. But man, looks like you got a bunch of shards. So yeah, we're pretty cleaned up there. Hey, I feel like I want to go into White World. What do you say? Just a little bit?
It's up to you.
Let's do it. LPK, tell me what you want me to play. You're here. You're supporting the stream. You're a fan of Graphite. Tell me what to do.
A loyal viewer. I feel like LPK is in every stream.
That's right. All right, Black and White World. Just a casual trot through the most difficult. I'm out of practice. I probably shouldn't be jumping straight into the most difficult rounds. I want you to play guitar. And this will. LPK, what kind of guitar do you have? I want to hear what kind of guitar is your go-to. All right, we're not going straight into to White World. This is you're just gonna see me die 1,000 times. I need to warm up. Taylor 414 CE. How do I pronounce that? Do I just say a Taylor 414, or is that like leet speak for like Vice or something?
414.
A 414. See, I would have been out here saying 414 like some kind of complete rookie, and you saved me, so I appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna get shards.
Gonna do shards?
Well, yeah, I guess.
You want to get that last challenge orb?
Yeah, why not? I'm kind of stealing your thunder here, but
It's all good.
but let me just kind of warm up by getting a challenge orb.
This is our community game.
Oh gosh. Almost got it. Oh man, it's void. I can't even breathe. Can't even breathe.
Shards on this one is pretty tough.
Is it? But you say you already got the shards? We're just getting challenge orb, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I already got the shards. So yeah, you just gotta find. I forget which one. It was one that I had like forgotten about like while I was playing, and then I got to the end and I'm like, oh, I only got 2 of these things.
Sure.
So you'll have to find it.
Gotcha. Ooh, yuck. And these are Kyle's levels, so I'm sure the I like the orbs like up here or some nonsense. Kyle's he's a tricksy hobbit.
Nah, nothing that crazy.
Yeah.
It should be just somewhere. Like we'll be able to see it.
Okay.
Nothing too weird. Yeah, tricksy hobbits, man.
Is it where you a lot of old literature references today, John?
Is there? Oh yeah, we were talking about
Well, Wizard of Oz.
Planet of the Apes.
Isn't Planet of the Apes start as a book?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing this the worst way possible. Like I'm making this super hard on myself. Let me just jump, skip, not die. Ugh, man.
Yeah, maybe if you dive through that frog hole,
There we go.
it's a little easier. There you go.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
One more of those. There you go. No problem.
No problem. I'm rusty, folks. Hang with me. I will get better. The show gets better. Oh, I gotta do too much bonk on that. Boom, 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 boom. It's gonna be something that eats me here, I'm sure. Maybe not. Yes. All right.
All good.
There. So it's not that. I gotta dive quickly. Sorry about that. All right. So yeah. Go. So it's not that challenge orb. Oops. Spikes. Spikes. Okay. So. Ooh, gnats. Darn it.
Ooh. Oh man. So how was your week?
Man, it's been a busy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh, clean escape. Yeah, busy week, man. Lots of stuff going on. Man, juggling. Well, we're moving a few games. Nothing that we are just going to disclose here, but through certification, and we finally got some good news on those. So, you know, we're in a spot at Graphite where we've got games coming out for a little while, but man, we're already working on the next thing. So it does feel like spinning 2 plates, sometimes 3 plates. So, man, yeah, busy days for sure. How about you, John? What's going on in your world?
Oh, yeah, let's see. I've been playing more Total War again. Gotten back into that.
Again, back on the hard stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, so Warhammer. I'm playing Warhammer Total War. They put out this new DLC. And so this DLC, this is one where they they have like the races of the Warhammer fiction, which all play very distinctly from one another, and then
Sure.
you can pick like a couple different characters for each race, so you can be not just the orcs, but like here's Grimgor Ironhide. You could be him, or you could
Sure.
be one of the other like half a dozen orc characters. Here's
That was
Grom
my-
the Paunch.
That was my nickname in college, John. Grimdor
What, Grimgor?
Ironhide. Grimdor Ironhide.
So they put out this DLC pack with these 3 new heroes in there. So one of them, okay, so one of them is okay. So in Warhammer, there's 4 Chaos Gods.
Oh gosh, we're going all the way back.
One of those Chaos Gods is Tzeentch, who's like kind of the trickster god, and he's like the one. He's all about like like unnatural change and kind of like warping kind of your mind to make things appear not as they are. So he's got like his whole own faction. Here, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you telling me there's a guy in this game called Tzeentch?
Yeah, Tzeentch.
That's my new college nickname, Tzeentch.
There's Tzeentch. There's
sure.
Slanesh. There's
Yeah.
Nurgle.
Gurgle.
Corn. Yeah, Nurgle. He's the plague god.
All right, John, give me a synonym for Nurgle.
Lord Fetid one. I don't know.
All right, challenge orb. Oh, Kyle, you son of a! I told you there would be. Where's Kyle? Is he in here? I just want him to know that he's causing me feel a certain type of way from afar. Ow! Oh, I know what I gotta do. All right, I'll play your game, you rogue. I know what I gotta do. I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll get this.
Yeah, there you go.
Ha! Ha!
There
Kyle.
you go. No problem.
All right, you may proceed with your nurgling.
So Tzeentch got a new hero called the Changeling. And so the Changeling's it's interesting. It's very different from how that game normally plays when you play as the Changeling. So like on a combat level, whenever you fight another hero as the Changeling, you like collect them in a way, and you can like turn into them like on the battlefield, which is kind of neat. So like Changeling himself is like this cloaked, just kind of like shadowy, figure. You don't really get to see what he actually looks like. But then you can kind of morph him into any of the other characters. So that's kind of cool.
Neat.
But on the campaign map, you see is when here.
There's
Kyle's
Kyle.
in here.
Ah, Kyle, you tricked me. You tricksy trickster. Kyle's like that little goblin that carries all the treasure in Diablo. He shows up randomly. You're always cursing the thing like, oh, and it always whoops you, right? It always gets the best of you. Kyle, your little swipe 'em hit me in the face when I was trying to get my challenge orb. So I hope you're happy.
Kyle, truly an agent of Tzeentch.
Yeah, right? Yeah. All right, we're clean on challenge orbs.
You're doing good.
Yeah.
We got all challenge and all shard orbs up until World 4.
Yeah, feeling good.
Yeah. Chaos.
All right, I'm just going to get some shards because I can kind of chill and talk while I'm getting orbs.
Yeah.
Or getting shards.
But yeah, so Changeling, like, what's neat is on the campaign map is like he doesn't like normally you kind of like what you do is you build armies and you march them around and you kind of like take over towns and then you paint the map is what they say.
Got it.
Yeah, that's kind of the usual like Total War kind of flow. But this guy, you can't like take over territories necessarily. Like what you do is if you take over a territory, what you're doing is you're actually like installing a trickster cult into like the province that you attacked. And so your enemy will still own that territory, but you'll have like this sub province like that they aren't necessarily aware of. And you have to balance you build buildings in this cult, and things that you build will siphon resources from the town that it's a part of, or you could build units and stuff out of it, but everything kind of comes with this cost of it's either going to, if you imagine here's here's a meter that when it's the more it's filled up, the higher chance the townspeople have of discovering the trickster cult.
Sure.
And when that happens, they can tear it down. So so you have to balance here are buildings that will make that meter go up, and then there are other buildings that will make it go down, but then that's at the expense of not having as good of economic benefits and things
Sure.
like that. So it's all kind of a neat idea, and then in order to win a campaign, you're trying to execute these schemes, they call it, which are just kind of big tasks, or a big collection of tasks. But so it'll be you're in this part of the world, do these here's this dozen or so list of things you can do to sow chaos throughout kind of the region, and if you do them, you can perform the ultimate scheme, which is just a big fight.
Sure.
And then you've accomplished the ultimate scheme, right? That's a point towards your overall victory or whatever. So
Wow.
it's all interesting ideas, but I found it to be really easy.
Yeah.
So the other thing is if you have a cult in a province, your guys are completely hidden from the enemy, so you can have these huge armies walking around, and the enemy AI can't see it as long as you have a cult in this land. So it'll be what you do is you just go in, fight the town, put the cult in, and then you're completely safe. So I don't know. I've been it's a really neat idea, but I've been kind of mixed on the experience, I guess, of playing it so far.
Yeah. Well, I mean that happens. I'm playing one right now where I feel there's lots of things that on paper I should just absolutely be infatuated with this particular game, and there's I don't know. There's it's all right. It does a few things good, but just little itches here and there. But yeah, that's all fine. Yeah, I've got a.
What game is that? Run and jump?
No, not run and jump.
The running's good, but the jumping,
I
don't know.
It's. But real quick, a practical question. Are there ever shards in challenge rooms?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
What was the RPG thing you were playing? You were telling me about?
Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How's
that's
that
the
going?
game. Yeah. I should be absolutely in love with the game, but there's well, I got to pause to say this intelligently. So there are games, a trend in the last 10 years where things automatically scale difficulty just based on whatever region you're in. Assassin's Creed does this. A lot of big open world games do this, right? So if you're level 45, everything around you is just generally level 45. And I don't know, it was fine for a little while, but I feel this game, this RPG kind of does that, where there's not random battles. So it never really puts the control in my hands to just maybe grind for a little bit and improve my guys so that I have an easier time getting through the next area. I'm just kind of always right at my threshold for success. The characters in the RPG, usually, you get knocked out and you have to use an item to bring them back. Well, not in this one. It's innovative where they give you a star, when you get knocked out in a cartoon, stars swirl around your head. You get knocked out once, you get 1 star, and then the next combat round, you come back. You knocked out again, you get 2 stars and 3 stars. So eventually it will party wipe you. But it's very soft to where even if I get knocked out, I just don't really care. I just kind of keep going. So it's taken away a little bit of the threat. And made it, I think, accessible for many. But for me, as a retro and an older RPG player, I'm not a stranger to grinding, and I actually kind of like the monotony of it sometimes. but I ultimately want that choice of, should I practice and get a little bit better, or should I, move on? Is it safe enough for me to venture into this dungeon now because I think I'm good enough? And they've kind of taken that away from me. So it's just like, I'm just kind of going through the steps. The story's cool, the art's beautiful, but like, there's not really a whole lot of like reason why I as a player am there. Like and man, they try so many cool things with like that classic 16-bit RPG trope, that I really want to just absolutely love it. And I'd give it a 9 out of 10, no problem. But like, it's not waking me up in the morning, like with a desire to play it. And you and I have talked about that enough where like, that's a good sign for me, is like, if I'm getting up and like, oh, I want to go play that thing. And, I don't know, I've gone maybe a week where I haven't touched it and like, don't really feel too pulled by it. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. And yeah, I guess so that's like a question of like, like how do you scale like a game as big as like an RPG like that, like
Yeah.
like I get the appeal of like wanting to be like, oh, you're always kind of at your here, I think you missed a
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get him. I was just kind of saving my progress.
Gotcha.
Doing a little room save there.
Like it is a thing where you always do, like when we're making a game like Run and Jump, trying to think of like, what the player knows and what they've seen before and what they're used to doing, and you're always kind of trying to craft kind of like novel scenarios with, components like in a game like this, like with the enemies and the platforms.
Yeah.
And with like the shards, to constantly kind of pull players into scenarios they haven't done yet before, so they're always kind of seeing something new or something interesting in the game.
Yeah.
And so I see that, but like with like an RPG, there is something just so like satisfying about like a game that's about growth, in that way. Your characters are getting better and leveling up and all that.
Yeah.
To go and like find an area that's like that was like giving you a lot of trouble in the past, and then now is just like you just sweep through it, like is just really really great.
Well, or little things like a magic spell can be a lock and key, really. Oh, I get this fire spell that can hit all enemies, so it makes me get through this area more easily. I mean, it's an adaptation of that lock and key that we all use in all kinds of games. And I just feel like they kind of took that away, So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, some of the things they've done in the game, the sprite art is probably the best sprite art that I think I've seen. Like, it's just ridiculously good. And funny, the writing, it's the Messenger team, right? So the Messenger was like funny and very aware that it was a video game the whole time. And this one does that too, where it's like, there's a few moments where like it's very clear that it knows it's a video game, and I appreciate that. Like, I don't know, just that I don't know, just the awareness, right? Just that they're not doing anything all that original. They make a joke about like let me get through this real quick. But like a shopkeeper in a classic RPG selling swords for like $500,000, but they live in this like tiny little hut. It's like weird things like that, and they kind of make joke through that like meta humor.
Sure.
Or like, how is it that like the further north you go, the better technology they have for building weapons? Like what like it's just RPG tropes that they kind of tease, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I don't know. I kind of will like I'll think about like, I guess maybe like I like to imagine like my enjoyment or maybe my engagement maybe is a better word with a game as kind of like it's like one of those like earthquake like seismograph things where it'll be like I imagine like kind of like a as like time goes on, like when I'm really enjoying my time, like the needle goes up and I'm like up here like really having a nice time, and then other times when it's real bad, like you're down here and it's no good. I find a lot of like, I don't know, sometimes the best games are the ones that do like those real big, like, real big jumps, right? Like,
Yeah.
you'll be like up here, and then even if you're down here, that can still be kind of interesting
Yeah.
for different reasons. Um, but yeah, and then there are some that are just like nice, like always kind of in the middle, like they never really go too high or go too low like that, but
Yeah.
they just kind of like, and those are like nice chill out games, I guess.
Sure.
Um, they never, they're never like outrageously, bad or like,
Yeah.
frustrating or unplayable or whatever, but they never quite reach the highs of like,
No. Can I get back up there? Oh, I can. Nice.
yeah.
Ow. Oh, nice. Look at that. Did I have a checkpoint there? How did that work?
So because you came up through there,
Oh,
we put the checkpoint in this little zone just because it's a safe spot for you.
that is a team that's thinking. Nicely done. You know what I did play this weekend? Got back on my old favorite, Roller Coaster Tycoon 1.
I was gonna say it's either roller coaster or like Heroes of Might and Magic.
Oh my gosh. Just a quick little scenario, John, not a multi-year, just, straight to October year 1, just a little exercise.
I don't even know what that means.
I won't, oh man,
yeah.
there's
So
gonna be a lot coming here.
how's things in the old roller coaster land?
I'm gonna turn down the sound effects just for a bit. Yeah, they're fine, Well, what I was trying to do, so I have a new PC, and it's notoriously tough to move save data from one PC to another. Let me be specific. The save data goes fine, but the scenario tracking, like to complete a scenario that unlocks more, that data is really hard to transfer. So if you don't have it, then it won't unlock like the other scenarios. And the way roller coaster works is like it's basically just terrain and the goal for the scenario. That's really all that changes. So you get a desert terrain, you get a mountainous terrain, you get an ice terrain, and they're fun in their own right. But if you go to a new computer and like none of the scenarios, there's like 40 scenarios with the expansion packs. So I wanted to like continue my progress from my old PC on the new, and I'm like halfway through the scenarios. So I copy over all my save games, and I've been saving after I complete the scenario, so it triggers, hey, this thing's done, before the save happens. So when I go into the save, it doesn't know that it's finished. So like there's no way for me to kind of like cheat and unlock these scenarios. So I was like, screw it, I'll just load up my old save games, and it won't let me load the save games. It knows. It's like, you don't have this scenario unlocked yet, and it flashes an alert.
What?
So I'm like, what the hell?
Ugh.
So the way you got to do it, John, you ready? You got to find this one data file and copy it to the new PC, but you have to change the date back to December 20th, 1998, the system time. No, hold on. Hear me out. And you got to change it back to that system time. Then you need to load the game. Then you need to load the scenario screen to trigger all these scenarios clearing, all cleared. And then you can change your system. Then you got to close Roller Coaster Tycoon, then change your system date back. And then it should stick. And call me paranoid, but changing the system clock on my PC freaks me out. Like, I just know that like all my Microsoft certifications are all going to go away. Windows 11 is going to uninstall itself because it thinks I'm a hacker. And I'm like, do I really want to do this? So this is funny. So I do this. So I change my system clock back because I'm an addict, right? I'll do anything to get my Roller Coaster Tycoon back. So here I am risking my PC to change this thing. And I load up the game and it doesn't work. So I've risked my entire livelihood just for an idea. It doesn't work. So I quickly try to change things back, and I change the date back, and all of these like Outlook reminders, like, just like freak out and just like, it's thinking that like I just cleared like 10 years of my life, and all these Outlook reminders are all freaking out, and these to-do lists are all binging. Ding, 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 ding. So anyway, I thought like I really screwed things up before I realized what was happening, and yeah. So anyway, I never got him running. That's the sad conclusion to this story. I never got the never got him working, which is a drag.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I know, right? It's sad, man. So. So I guess I can go back on my old PC and play it, but on my new one, you get the few like default scenarios, and that's it. So.
How do you feel about like I don't know, in a game like that, like, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's always kind of a need for games to offer that like progression, like you have to unlock everything. But like more and more, I think, you know, I don't know. As I think about, you know, games, you know, like other games that I'd like to make, I'm like thinking about them more as like, yeah, I don't know. Do they need like, I don't know. Do they need like a whole like progression unlocking thing, or can it just be like, you know, like you buy a DVD, you know, you can jump to, or like, you know, buy a movie or whatever, you jump to any chapter you want. Like, you know, you just, I mean, it's going to work better for some games than others, you know, but,
Yeah. You know, I think
but I would
so.
think for something like Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's like, just give me everything, you know. And if you want to play all the things in order or whatever, like you can do that. But like, I don't know, there's something about like, here's everything, do, you know, here's an order we suggest you do it, but if you don't want to do that, like whatever, like, you know, it's your thing.
You know, I almost don't even know if I can answer that because I think it's so dependent on how I grew up in games. Like, there's just a bit of comfort of things unlocking in a certain order that just like, you know, it's kind of probably like the grinding of RPGs. Like, there's probably an age group that's maybe 16 and under that, you know, loves Sea of Stars and doesn't give a damn about grinding and just like is, you know, hey, let's just let me get on with it. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. My preference is like that feeling of progression, of going through things and seeing like these little kind of drips of new content is probably that's probably my gamer persona, right? I think that's just usually what I'm into and what feels best to me naturally. But yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's any others where I'm like, oh no, this is fine to get everything, you know, like if there's a game I played that contradicts that, but I think nothing that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Trying to think, I forget. I don't know. Like I'll play like those like Picross games and like on like Switch or whatever, and those just have everything. Well, maybe all the main stuff, like all the main puzzles they're all just there. If you just want to jump to the last one, like you can do that. And then it tracks like which ones you've completed, and like it will give you like stars and stuff if you do it with like no assists and stuff like that. So there are ways to get, you know, to progress in a way, and I think that feeling of like doing something, like I don't know, crossing a thing off a list or whatever, like does feel good. But sometimes, you know, I'm just kind of left wondering, like, you know, am I doing this just to cross this off a list, or am I actually enjoying my time doing this thing, you know?
Sure. Yeah. No, I think that's I'm gonna pause here. Take a break. Yeah, no, I mean I get that too, but like I don't know, man. I don't know. This is one where I think it's just the only way I can explain is just my gut feels like it's just more, it just feels better when I'm seeing that progress. But I don't really have a real intelligent reason besides just, you know, it feels more literally like you're progressing when you see that tactile, like just that scenario's done, on to the next one, you know? We've all been pretty well conditioned as gamers to go from level 1 to level 2, you know? I mean, it's very, you know, it's kind of an
totally.
ancient kind of deal in our industry. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing. 'Cause, I guess, kind of like level-based stuff was maybe the most applicable
Yeah.
You know, like I've been playing like Doom, or I just finished Doom a little while ago, but
Sure.
it's like, yeah, like yeah, it's like here you can play it all in an order, but like, what if every level was just unlocked and you just go wherever, whenever,
Yeah.
Um,
I'd say for things like certainly for some games it doesn't make sense. Like we played what was it, Clubhouse games for a while a couple of weeks ago, and like for compilations like that, I don't think there's any real reason to like be like, oh, play this one game and then we'll unlock checkers. Like that seems certainly weird.
mhm.
But then equally so, I think like level based play feels really natural to like, all right, lock some stuff down. A good example, okay, so Combinera. Graphite Lab made this puzzle game along with Joystick a couple years ago, and there's 300 levels, and they're broken down into chapters, and some tutorialization leads you all the way down, but there's 300 levels to play, and we stop the player, and some of those puzzles prevent the player from going on, and they're just difficult. So I think that's a game where I certainly would advocate, now that we've put it out there and players have played it and given us feedback, where allowing them to play, let's say, one of 30 or any of the 30 levels in a chapter might make more sense in a game experience like that one for sure. Whereas we lock them just because that's what you do, but as we got more player feedback, maybe leaving more of them open would have been good.
Yeah, that probably in a puzzle game, especially. Oh boy,
I was dumb. I was talking, and then I was like, oh, let's go do what's next. It was dumb.
Puzzle games especially, I think, work. So yeah, I've seen a lot of puzzle games like will do like at the very least like giving you more than one level open at a time, just
sure.
because you might get stuck in one level and you don't want to like just bash your head into it over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So that's always nice.
Man, I gotta get
Any sort of completion-based unlocks have some basis in the way narratives work. You don't typically tell a story entirely out of order unless that's specifically what you're trying to do. Yeah, totally. Like, that was from Kat. Yeah, totally. Like, narratives, make things, there's definitely an order you want to do things. And then, like, general progression in game, like, like the order in which you, like, unlock like abilities or like grow your RPG character or whatever, like makes it you want to do things in a certain order for sure, but like like I was saying, like you buy a DVD, you can jump to any chapter, you could go straight to the end if you really wanted to, like it just wouldn't make sense necessarily, like but
yeah.
So it's not like anyone's like buying a movie and then just watching it in reverse order. But if they wanted to, I guess they could. But I don't know. It would just make things easier for like repeat plays, or just getting to like the specific part of a thing that you really like or whatever.
Yeah. I'm getting like all the way over here. We're doing fine. Oh, I got them all. Oh. Matt. Mr.
Oh, good. You're close.
Mr. Die and Cry over here.
Oh.
That's not the right way to do that move. All right, gang, we're getting this one this round. Oh my gosh, wrong button. All right, John, what's another word for gang?
Crew?
It's trying to get clever.
You ever play Wolfenstein 3D?
Like the original? Like the OG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I guess the id original. I guess that was based on another game, but I've been turning that on lately. Since I finished Doom, I was like, well, I could go to Doom 2, or what if I went to Wolfenstein? So I did that.
What do you think of it?
I gotta tell you, a little boring.
Yeah. I think they kind of recognize that too, don't they? Like I feel like I've heard like that like Doom kind of holds up, but Wolfenstein maybe not as much.
Yeah, Doom was great.
Yeah.
Doom was fantastic. Wolfenstein, too much of the same. It's just the tools they have at their disposal, I guess, to
Right.
make levels are just not enough to
Yeah.
for as much content as there is to like keep it all interesting throughout the course of
Yeah.
course of the game. So there's like 8 episodes, and then there's like you go through 9 floors for each episode, and I'm on like floor 6 of the first episode, and I'm like, ugh,
No
like,
more. Yeah.
just kind of more of this, huh?
Right.
That's not to say it's not fun. Like, kinetically, it's just, good to just shoot a guy. Like
Sure.
it's like that part really holds up still. Like when
Yeah.
you just turn a corner and you're just like blam, blam, blam. But otherwise, I'm just like, am I gonna play this whole thing? I don't
Yeah.
know.
What about the Keen series? Did you ever play any of those from id?
No, I never did.
Commander Keen? That was a weird one for me because I played them on a PC right around the time that they came out. It was my cousin's. God, I am not doing the right moves there. Like it's this big sloppy long jump dive thing. There's got to be an easier way. I think I just need to like,
Yeah, it's like you have to jump back and then dive forward.
yeah. So I need to get that fixed out. But playing Keen was a lot of fun, and it was definitely like rigid, but compared to Mario. But like, but yeah, it was. I played. I think it was like Keen 3 or 4 though. Like it wasn't like the very first one. I just happened to have. There was a diskette at my cousin's house, and I don't even know how in the heck he got it, but yeah, it was interesting for sure.
Yeah, I never played Commander Keen. Didn't they? They came out with like a new one, didn't
Yeah.
they?
So that one was it was a third party. They relicensed it to somebody. I don't even know who it was. Like, I feel like it might have been a team that I've heard of, but it wasn't like a real like everybody knows them team. That was one of them. And it was at I saw it first at the licensing show. So we go to the show in Vegas occasionally. I don't as much anymore, but where just all these new brands are displayed. So it might be new movies, new TV, new comics, whatever. And Keen was there, and I was surprised, but yeah. I don't know if it came out, but somebody was working on it.
Is there any brand you have your eye on, or like anything that you want to do or wanted to do that you never got to? Like,
there's plenty, but you know my answer to this one is usually did it. I'm gonna go back for that one. Oh dang. Kid Icarus. I've loved Kid Icarus on the NES. And I think it's a great property for like a modern Metroidvania. I think the mythical creatures you face, bringing in like the head of a Gorgon, like makes sense for like a thing that you would kill and get more ability from. And I feel like the original Kid Icarus, as much as I loved it, is probably one of the most overhyped games. Like people always talk about it, but it's like it's not like really all that great. If you talk about the original NES games, like Metroid's awesome, Zelda's awesome, Mario's awesome, Kid Icarus is cool, but like it's very like surface level. Like it has so much potential that it never really reaches. And so for that reason, I'd love to just use a mythical Greek mythology Kid Icarus type story and build out like a Metroidvania would be super cool. So I don't know where that brand is tied up in at Nintendo. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, it's in the the real that legacy. There we go. Finally. Oh come on, Matt! Don't screw this up. Just get there safely. Pause. Yeah. I mean, Kid Icarus would be super cool. I think a really modern like sprite art like representation or some kind of real interesting art style that's not been done a lot could be real cool. Yeah. And Greek mythology.
If I gave you $1 million and I said make me a new Kid Icarus game, what would you do?
Well, that's my pitch is the Metroidvania.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, for sure.
I only listened to like half of whatever you said.
He's staring at my pause screen.
Yeah.
No, think about it. Like there's so many cool Greek mythical creatures to pull from. They all have like unique, the Gorgon can like turn things to stone. So you're getting that, and then you can turn enemies to stone and use them as platforms and other stuff. Like it makes good sense.
Yeah.
Wings of a creature. Okay, Pitt's lost his wings, and now we'll use like defeat a chimera and use the chimera's wing as like a reason, how he can float and flutter. The Mimi mirror to like reflect beams and stuff. God, like there's just so many cool like elements from Greek mythology. And they pull them in other games. God of War does this. Like Kratos pulled in from like all these things too, but
like Hades has a bunch of that stuff.
Hades probably does too, right? Yeah. So I just think, and maybe we take the idea of Kid Icarus and you kind of shift the lore. Like so instead of being Greek mythology, you've got like Egyptian mythology, which would be pretty neat. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of the same spirit of Kid Icarus, which is like basically the runt angel of the group. So you'd look at like the Egyptian gods, and I don't know if, please forgive my ignorance, but I don't know if like Egyptians have anything like angelic. Like I know they have a whole tier of gods, but is there one like angels are kind of like they're like they're like the worker level. They go out and do the bidding of the grand deity. So I don't know if Egyptians have that kind of like creature, but if you were one of those and you're trying to like if you're trying to reach that higher enlightenment by doing these tasks of the gods, like that could be really interesting. I love like Egyptian mythology too, which is would be really pretty cool.
Lil Ra. That's
basically
what you can do.
Right.
Lil Isis, baby Isis.
Is it
I don't know much about the.
I almost did it again.
God.
I almost did it again.
Oh my god.
Almost did it again. I got 10 minutes left to not screw this up.
Everyone shut up so I can get these last two shards without getting distracted. I'm just like jump into a spike pit or whatever. Man.
The other thing about Kid Icarus is I don't think it ever talks about like Icarus doesn't matter to the game at all. Like the whole story of Icarus and flying too close to the sun, having Daedalus as like an inventor father, like that's a really cool premise because like you could have your father make all these contraptions for you when you're like your town is getting like assaulted by the gods. Like there's a real story there, and they don't do anything with Daedalus. Like there's no like there's no like tragic flaw of Kid Icarus. Like there's no moral to it. It's just like So I think like we could do something fun there, but we'd probably have to not be Kid Icarus proper. We'd have to just probably be inspired by.
For sure. Yeah, there's Daedalus, and then like that story is like they're trapped in the labyrinth. Oh my god, what are you doing?
They're stuck in the.
Why do you do that?
Shut up. They're stuck in the what?
The labyrinth, right? Like I don't know if like Daedalus built the labyrinth or what, but they're like in there. So that could be like that could be the map, right? Like you know, it's just like kind of like pseudo magical like like clockwork maze palace that you're in, and then you're they're trying to escape, and you find like the different components that give you new abilities that let you get to new parts of the maze that let you get out of it. I don't know. Yeah, it all just kind of works. Like it really kind of flows together really well.
So
and Greek mythology has a lot of great just like things, just a lot of great like trinkets that you could pull from.
Yeah. So I think when I'm looking for like design, like I really get excited when something just kind of like naturally flows, and I just feel like that one just has lots of like good ideation that you could just sweet. Creativity's active in chat. With the labyrinth,
Daedalus built the labyrinth
to house the Minotaur. He did house the Minotaur. So I knew that there's labyrinth and Minotaur, but see, like what? So this guy does the Minotaur thing, but like that's never part of the Icarus myth. Like I don't know, it never gets told that way. I don't know. It just seems like I don't know.
You can have the Minotaur be like the Eddies or whatever from Metroid Dread. It's kind of this recurring like unstoppable character.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, it just writes itself. It's just perfect.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so John's like, so why aren't we doing that one, Matt? I'm like, I don't know, man. We're busy. But no, I think it'd be super sweet. And you know, it's I've talked about it before, but like, you know, we've looked at some other, like, I guess you call them like first party. And oh my gosh, there's one. You son of a. We're getting it right now. Get out of my way, Froggy. Yeah.
Whoa!
Look at that. Boom. Highlight
job.
reel. Just don't show the earlier 3,000 deaths. What? I missed 4.
You didn't even get them all. Ah!
What? Where'd I miss 4?
My God.
So sad. So sad. What did I miss? I was pretty careful getting all that. Look at this frog just booping right there. Oh man. Well, guys, I tried so hard.
Oh my God.
Clearly, actually, at some moments
Well.
you could say that I wasn't trying hard enough, but
Next time you do it, it won't be as hard.
it won't. No, I feel good about that one. But let's focus on the good things. We did clean up the challenge orbs. I think that's the only good I did. I guess you already had
You got
shards in this one.
challenge orb this whole hour. You go.
I came up with a game design, document. That was good.
Oh yeah.
That's a plus. That's some good output from this ordeal. But yeah, I don't know. There's something to that Egyptian version's kind of neat. There was a game when we were in Kickstarter called something about Olympus. It was like Climb of Olympus or something, and I don't know, it had like a Greek theme to it. That was pretty slick. But I haven't played, aside from like God of War, like the whole, like, I guess kind of Greek motif. I haven't really seen it a whole lot lately. Whereas when I was NES era, there was a lot of that, like Battle for Olympus and Astyanax and all these others had like just tons of Greek mythology inspiration stuff.
Yeah, I mean Hades, a couple of years ago blew up, huge, but
yeah, for some reason Hades never clicked for me, man. I bought it really quickly. I love Supergiant. I loved Bastion. I have Transistor, but didn't play it all the way through. And man, so many good things from that team that I was really excited to play it. And this was after, I guess I didn't buy it right away. It was after it was getting just a ton of hype, and I got in there and I was playing Dead Cells and other roguelike type games, and I don't know, this one it just didn't hook me. Something about it. I'm not sure. But then again, I didn't play Dead Cells for all that long. Maybe 6-7 hours total. Like, I had a fun time with it, but it didn't, like, again, pull me in and make me want to like wake up and play it every day type of thing. So
yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think there's a lot of great craft to that game, but I think like roguelikes in general, I never really find myself pulled to them all too much. Like the notion of playing kind of the same similar stuff over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, Hades, you're supposed to beat like 11 times before you see the real ending, and I'm like,
yeah,
I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's just not the. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something not quite satisfying about going through that random generated, content. I don't know. It just it doesn't feel like novel or interesting enough.
It's got an arcade vibe to it, so I do enjoy it. And when I'm playing it, I will have fun. But like, much like a lot of good arcade games, it's like when you're there and you're in the moment, you want to have fun. But it's there's not necessarily the glue. We talk about this when we get like deep into like design discussion. Like, there's got to be a meaning behind every game, and you can get meaning through narrative, you can get meaning through mastery, and you get meaning through community. And I feel like good arcade games, it's through mastery. Like, oh, you want to get the high score, you want to be at the top of the scoreboard, and like those roguelike games have like the vibe of arcade. They sometimes weave in a little bit of story, but we even ran into this with Hive Jump, where most of the time when I played our own game Hive Jump, I just played the arcade mode. I didn't really jump through like all the campaign stuff as much. because I just liked jumping in and shooting some stuff and jumping out. So that's kind of how I feel about those roguelikes, is like they're arcade type of flavor, you know. So you play them for a little bit, and you know, but unless there's some sort of competitive element, a leaderboard of some sort, something to bring me back to really, you know, show off, it's like, yeah, that was fun, you know. Not no disrespect at all, just, you know, it's not going to make me play it for, you know, hundreds and hundreds of hours, you know. Yeah. So, all right. Well, John, I'm sorry I didn't move us further on the leaderboard here, but you know, I did 196 out of 200 is you know, what I've got to offer today. So
I guess we'll just have to keep streaming.
just have to keep streaming. Now, next week you'll be traveling, right? Actually, for the next two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, next one, yeah, I'm out of town. Next one. The one after I could show up if I wanted to,
Okay.
but I'm
Well,
technically on vacation.
we're gonna play that one by ear, but for the rest of you on the stream, thanks for hanging out with us for a bit. We're gonna go ahead and tap out. Have good weekends, and thanks for humoring me during my one orb contribution this Friday. So right now, someone is speed running run and jump. So we will let's give them a raid and see how they're doing.
Hell yeah.
All right. They better not be speed running yellow 4-1. Oh yikes.
Anyway.
Cool. We're clear.